So tell me, what are the boys and they're standing here right now with okay. Can you tell us there's a demonstration right now going on in Hanford and area?
Yes, sure.
Who's here right now?
It's the Muslim community in general. We've got people from all over the Muslim world, actually, from Syria as well as Lebanon, Palestine. We've got people from Pakistan, all over the Muslim world. The demonstration is arranged by Hizb ut-Tahrir, the Liberation Party. It's a Islamical political party, aiming for a political change in the Muslim world and securing or working for an Islamic alternative to the tyrant regimes in the Muslim world. The party aims for the re-establishment of the Islamic State and implementing the Islamic system, which is in accordance with the values of the Muslim in the Muslim world. And this demonstration here today is about what's going on in Syria. The message of this demonstration is that the Muslims should not seek help anywhere else but the Muslim world. Whether we're talking about NATO or the United Nations, they have proven themselves unworthy to assist Muslims or to assist any human in the world. We have seen that in the case of Afghanistan, we've seen it in the case of Iraq, we've seen it in the case of Kosovo, Palestine. The United Nations, which has been passive towards the bloodshed going on in the Muslim world, and also that has become a tool for Western superpowers, a tool that secures that their policies can go through in the Muslim world. So it approves the occupation of Iraq, it approves the occupation of Afghanistan, and in the last effort from the Western world, the Muslim world, which was in Libya, has now proved itself to be a disaster.
What about in Syria?
In Syria, our opinion is that the Muslims should not call for help anywhere else but the Muslim world. We have military forces in the Muslim world, in Syria, in Egypt, in Jordan, in Turkey. These Muslim armies have the obligation to protect the people of these countries, and it's up to them to secure the life of the people, to protect the people against the tyrants such as Bashar al-Assad. So our message is it's not just a wrong idea to seek help from the United Nations, but it's a political suicide actually. And the only place where the Muslims should seek any help is from the Muslim world themselves.
Have you actually gotten any kind of feedback from the government establishments in regards to your request?
From Muslim governments?
Yes.
Well, the party of the Liberation Party of Hizb ut-Tahrir seeks to overthrow the regimes in the Muslim world, just as the majority of the Muslim world wants, actually. And of course, these regimes, which has been enjoying protection from Western superpowers, would not approve such a goal. And that's why imprisonment of our members in the Muslim world, jailing, torturing our members, is something that we deal with in the Muslim world on an everyday basis. So of course, the reaction from the regimes towards Hizb ut-Tahrir, or towards such a call actually, or towards any political opposition to those tyrants is very well known in the whole world. In Syria exactly, Hizb ut-Tahrir is very known. It has been there since the early 50s, and we have thousands of our members in Syrian jails. And their only crime is that they are working to create awareness of a political and alternative to the Ba'ath regime in Syria.
Are you asking what can you expect the typical Muslim who's living in Dana? What can you expect? What would you expect of them? What can you see of them to help?
It is clear that the Muslims in the Western world in general, and in Denmark too, has proven that they see that they are a part of the Muslim world. You see a lot of what do you call in English? Sympathy. A lot of sympathy towards the Muslims in Syria. And it's was the case for that in Tunisia, in Egypt, and in Libya. So the reaction, the response that we have witnessed here in Copenhagen is actually quite touching. It shows that the Muslims have a feeling that they should support each other. They are part of one identity. Exactly.
Do you plan? Is this just a one-time demonstration, or do you plan on for the campaign as long as it continues?
This is actually a part of the campaign. We have already had another demonstration in Oslo, in the center of Copenhagen. We have had an annual conference, the annual conference of the Tahrir. This time the subject was the ongoing or the circumstances in the Muslim world right now. So it's a campaign, and this is just the last part of it, or the most recent part of it. There will be several other activities.
And my final question is, what other organizations outside of your party or organization have you gotten support from? For example, Amnesty or some other organizations in the international community?
As we speak, actually, there is a guest speaker who belongs to another organization here in Denmark, an Islamic organization that builds mosques here.
And what's the name of that one?
It is the Waqf al-Community. And they actually are presented here today by this dear speaker. So the support is actually massive from the Muslims. We feel that wherever we are, and you can see today the demonstration. There was somewhere about 2,500 to 3,000 people in the demonstration, and you have to bear in mind that we're talking about Denmark, where you have 500,000 in Copenhagen. So it's a big number actually when you consider the number or the scale we are dealing with here. So the response is very positive from all over the Muslim community.
One last question. What do you think the response is from the Danish society and culture as far as what you guys are talking about?
Yes. Well, you can say that there is a split. You have a large number of Danes that think that the best solution is Western intervention. But there are those who believe that such an intervention would not necessarily be something that gains the people for several reasons. The idea that we present, that the Muslims are capable of dealing with these problems in accordance with their own values, with their own history, with their own beliefs, and when we tell them that there is an alternative to those tyrant regimes that is in harmony with the values of the Muslims, many people will accept that, even though they do not accept the alternative itself, but they will accept the idea that the Muslims should decide on their own. They should be the ones deciding what kind of system and systems that they should be living under. So there is a response, it is possible to discuss and debate such a thing, and there is people that would agree, people that would not agree, but they respect the Muslims' right to have an idea or an alternative system than the Western.
Any Danish political parties, for example, that are...
The political parties, of course, there is something else. Like, when we talk about the people...
Radical or what's the Enhedslisten or something like that. Are any of them interested in what you have to say? Or?
We have actually had lots of debates with some political parties or with some members of the political parties. They cannot argue against the idea that it is the Muslims in the Muslim world that should decide on their own what kind of system they want to live under. The problem is that they have some interest. Their intervention is not purely for humanitarian reasons. You have economical, geopolitical, ideological interests for those politicians in the Muslim world, and they are forced to legitimize this intervention, and mainly it is done by this excuse that it has a humanitarian aim, and that's why in public they cannot accept such an idea. But actually, when you talk to them, not in front of the camera, they cannot disagree with you that the Muslims should be the one deciding what is that answer. In public they would say, but the majority of the Muslims seek a democratic solution. And it is a myth that the elections in Egypt and Tunisia has proven to be a myth. We believe that the Muslim world won the majority of the Muslims want an alternative that is based on their Islamic values.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is you for Copenhagen Voice signing out, and we need to get your email and your name and so on.
Yeah,